order paper.
The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr. Chair, we have heard that none of the proponents of SOPs on this matter were members of the Government Administration Committee. And as a consequence, they did not hear the arguments. They were not part of understanding the analysis, and that they did not appreciate the intensity of submissions. And then we were also told that a referendum was rejected by MPs because it's good for some situations, but that it is a bad way of addressing human rights issues. I wonder what Abraham Lincoln would have thought in the 1860s to hear that an issue that went in the end because of its expansion, not the cause, but the expansion of slavery and the cessation of it, led to the Civil War in the United States. I wonder what Abraham Lincoln, this magnificent leader, when it comes to human rights, would have thought of such an argument. See, at the beginning of this debate last year, the proponents of the bill talked a lot about public opinion. One was reported as saying, quotes, "Twice as many New Zealanders support marriage equality as opposed to it, so we can now make it law," end of quotes. Or that we campaigned on this. Really? I've got the manifesto here of the party that said that, and it said on this issue, quotes, "Review and update relationship property law." That's it. Now, with the greatest respect, please make claims in this House that can be sustained by how it was pre-warned to the electorate as to what was intended to be done. But some of us have been around long enough to know one thing, that the public on this matter is seriously concerned, and they are all over the place and divided on this issue. Opponents say one thing, and the proponents say something else, and what we want to know is, where does the majority lie in New Zealand? And it should not be reposed in 121 temporarily empowered members of Parliament. That's the fundamental issue here. And then to come to the House and then start disputing the efficacy of an expanded democracy, where you share views with the public of this country in this computerised age, is an extremely astonishing and alarming development. I know that there are people who want to ignore the public and pass laws, and we've seen it on asset sales and all other sorts of other things, but a lot of the people who were lining up for a public referendum on asset sales and Mighty River Power now say, "Oh, but you can't have it on this issue." So we can trust the public on Mighty River Power and assets, but we can't trust them on moral issues. And I'll ask you again, where did some of the members of this Parliament ever attain that intellectual and moral and ethical superiority where they could shamefacedly, in front of the whole public and recorded by Hansard, tell New Zealanders what they think of their views? How did it happen to our democracy in 2013 that people could be so bold? No pre-election warning, just a post-election onslaught. Now, the select committee processes showed that the public is split. The public meetings show that the public is split. Letters to the editor say the public is split. That's right. Talkback radio, social media, all indicators suggest that this is a polarising and divisive issue in the community, and everyone here knows what my view of polls are. What my view of polls is. Because they are so erroneous in New Zealand, they're so unprofessional, that these things should be banned. Internationally, you get a 3% spread between 5 major pollsters. They meet to try and sort out what is wrong with our methodology. Here we have a 14% spread and they carry on regardlessly. But when a poll is within 10% either way, then no one can tell me, in this House or outside, that they know what their neighbour, who is the voter of this country and who we are meant to be the servants of, really think. So what's wrong with asking them? The workplace is split, churches are split.
That's right.
Inside the church, churches are split, families are split. Where lies the majority is the issue that should be the most compelling for a member of Parliament who campaigned at the last election. on the principle of democracy. Mr. Speaker,
Right,
Mr. Chairman,
Honourable Winston.
there's no consensus, there's no majority, there is no mandate. And, you know, you can ridicule it by saying, well, the New Zealand First Leader wants a man-date and try and make out that a democratic dream is a issue of hilarity and humour or comedy. Let me tell that person who wrote that sort of thing that they would be the first victims if that was what resided in this country, a contempt for democracy itself. And yet we are here as Parliament about to totally disregard public opinion, and all our referendum asks is not that you don't get to have a vote, that you don't get to have a say, or even have a majority in this House. All we ask you is to await a public referendum to endorse your claims of having a majority. Is that so bad? No. Can that be so wrong? No. Or, you know, again, I ask those members, if they were on other issues of importance, would they still say, my conscience, right or wrong, regardless of the constituency? Now, as you know, Mr. Chairman, our position is well known. We've been consistent all along on this for years. We have never got up on a stage and said, we're going to debunk that person's view or despise that person's view. What we've said on day after day and night after night, and in more public meetings than most people here have ever had, and with bigger audiences, I might say, why don't we trust the people, have a fully fledged public debate, even finance the quality of the debate, so it reaches above the blind and the bigoted to some rational, sane argument, and then ask the public what they think. We stand by that policy, and tonight we are repeating our call. We want to find out where the truth lies. I've asked people I know and friends of mine and acquaintances who are not ashamed to know me, who are both homosexual and lesbian, what they think, and I've been astonished by the answer. By those who said, well, I never asked for the civil union law, nor am I asking for this. I'm happy with what I've got. Or to be ambushed in the middle of the parliamentary night to find out, well, now that you're living in a long-term relationship, you're subject to a claim of 50% of your assets. These people were never asked. And they are homosexual. Perhaps they should have had a survey or a poll amongst them. But I haven't even seen that yet. All I'm hearing is people claiming to represent a certain view. And if that view was correct, then why were there so few actions of the Civil Union Bill? Why so few sought that path? If they have a massive majority, even amongst a certain section in our society, who they claim to be in support of this bill. So, to those who say it was in our election manifesto, we have to say, well, show me, because it can't be what I'm reading. And I would be hard-pressed to find any reference to this pre-2011. I have the manifesto. Nowhere in the document is there any statement of the Labor's intent, for example, to change the definition of marriage. It's not there. And we get, as I say, on page 374, that commitment to review and update relationship property law. Whatever that means. Apparently the media didn't know what it meant either. There was not one news story regarding Labor's stance on marriage in 2011. Not one. We have a report which says Labor supports gay adoption. We have a report saying Labor wants to prevent homophobia in schools, but no mention of marriage equality. Now, I'm not here to criticise people other than they put this in contention when they said it. So if you're going to contend it, then prepared for the examination of whether it's truth or not. No billboards, no mail-outs, no TV ads, no speeches, just a deafening silence. In fact, no. Mr. Goff said in July 2011 that he saw no need to redefine marriage. He was the leader of the Labour Party right up to the last election when whatever mandate or not we all got came into effect. Now, let's not forget what we're talking about when we talk about this, because, frankly, around New Zealand are a whole lot of voters, and this is not a threat, but are going to make up their mind on this issue. And I say to some of my colleagues in this Parliament that they have put in jeopardy, serious jeopardy, the next election result. That goes for national as well. It's a funny thing, isn't it? In the National Party, it's the list members that are going for this bill, and the ones that got a constituency seat in the main are going against it. Many of those are going for the referendum. And I say one more time, if you want to survive electoral holocaust,
Sergeant,
go for the referendum.
Member, the time has come for me to leave the chair for the dinner break. This debate is interrupted. I shall resume the chair at 7:30.